Best Pet RX is a veterinary compounding pharmacy that compounds custom medicines for dogs, cats, birds, mammals, reptiles, and all other large and small species. The best thing about Best Pet RX is that they focus big on quality and customer service, with super fast delivery and next day service. Not only that, Best Pet RX services most states. If it walks, crawls, swims, or slithers, Best Pet RX can compound your pet's medication. Have a pet that just won't take their medications? Best Pet RX can formulate their medications to taste better with an endless list of flavors to make your pet's meds taste great. No one wants to watch their pets suffer because of slow delivery times or them not taking their meds due to the way it tastes. Best Pet RX solves those problems. Best Pet RX, increasing compliance, leading to better therapeutic outcomes. Visit them today at www.bestpetrx.com. What's up, everyone? Happy fucking New Year. Welcome to episode 90 of Snakes and the Fatman. An extra little shake for the new year. I was working on my water painting therapy the other day. I'm going to check out this little turtle painting that I did, because I like turtles. Alright? These little turtles are so happy together. And I realized, wouldn't it be great if on Morph Market you could buy and sell groups of animals? But there was this rule that they had to all have the same genetics. So I asked John, I said, listen, why is this, man? And John literally just gazed back into my eyes and said, I don't know. Why don't we fix it? So now, Morph Market has adjusted their rules for advertising multiple animals, even with different sex or genetics, in a single ad. They've added a new sex option, mixed. I don't know. Sounds a little woke there, John. But they added a new sex option, mixed, to support this use case. They've also added an option to sell the animals as a group. And buyers can now use the new search to find all the pairs trios, and groups that are listed for sale together. You've probably also seen other small changes on Morph Market lately. These include navigational improvements to move around the site easier, improvements to the consistency of image formats, and real-time messenger improvements. You can even see when the other person is typing. That little worm thing that Facebook has? Yeah. But Morph Market has been really focused on some big projects which will be announced soon. So, seriously, don't split my turtles up, man. They probably want to breed anyway. Go and see what groups are listed on Morph Market today at morphmarket.com. All right, let's head on over to Herps and see what's going on there with the new year. On January 14th and 15th, they're going to be in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Then on January 21st and 22nd, they're out there in Longview, Texas. The big show, fucking Conroe, Texas, January 28th and 29th. Then they're going to stay in Texas for a little bit. On February 25th and 26th, they're going to be in Corpus Christi. Look at that, back in New Orleans. March 4th and 5th. Then they're going to be in Bryan, College Station, Texas on March 11th and 12th. Then they're going to be in Waco. Fucking crazy ass Branch Davidians still fucking walking around there. For all you young people, look it up. Fucking Google it. All right? They're going to be in Waco on March 25th and 26th. Then they're going to be in Slidell, Louisiana on April 1st and 2nd. All this in 2023. There's a fucking lot more coming. Fucking go visit a Herp show. It's the best run show circuit in the country. Fucking go to herpshow.net. Email Sean and Laurie. Tell them what a fucking incredible job they're doing. And tell them that the Fatman sent you. All right. We're here with the first episode of the new year. Got a new intro, a new hat, fucking, and a bunch of shit in the pipeline for 2023. The first episode of Snakes and the Fatman aired on October 10th, 2016 with Ralph Davis. This show marks 7 years that I've been doing this dick and fart joke podcast. 7 fucking years. And in the history of this show, we've had some superstars on who still to this day have not done another podcast. 7 years. They're still in the game and they have not done another podcast. That says something. The only reason I bring this up is because I was looking at the history of the show last night, and that's when I realized that this is our 7th year. And I just thought to myself, holy fuck. I think that we're the only podcast that came out of the gate with fucking legends like Ralph Davis, Kevin McCurley, Mike Wilbanks, Ozzy, Justin, and a bunch of new people we were given time to that after 7 years, they're kind of legends in their own right, like Bob Vu, Josh Lundberg, all these other guys, Billy Rose, Patrick McKnight. Now, I'm not saying that they were all home runs. We definitely had our share of people on this show who turned out to be dicks. But really, you know, you can't win them all. Sometimes you just don't know. But the majority of people that we've had on, I'm proud to say I'm still friends with to this day. And I'm talking to real friends. Not all this fucking, oh, I love you, brother, fucking, you're my man, fucking, on the podcast, and then I never talk to them again. I literally talk to these people every day, if not every week. People always say, don't meet your heroes, right? I mean, usually what's going to happen is you're going to meet them and they're going to disappoint you. But I'm happy to say that 90% of the time with this show, that has not happened to me. 10% of the time, it's absolutely true. All right, not to name drop, but I'm going to tell a story now back from the old musician days. I was backstage at an Aerosmith concert, and I was hanging out with Daryl McDaniels from Run DMC, Robin Zander from Cheap Trick, and Mark Ford from the Black Crowes. And you have to understand, like Aerosmith were gods to me. And, you know, basically every riff I've ever wrote and every song I ever recorded had direct rip-offs of Aerosmith songs in them. So I fucking loved these guys, right? Well, when Aerosmith was getting ready to take the stage, a manager came out of their dressing room, and we were all hanging out in the hallway. And the manager yells out, "Walking!" And every one of us in the hallway had to move over, stand with our backs to the wall, while dainty little Aerosmith walked out unencumbered to the stage. They made all of us stand with our backs to the wall like a bunch of fucking first graders at the end of recess. And honestly, I just thought to myself, man, that seems like such a bitch move. I mean, you don't tell the motherfucker that wrote My Adidas to fucking stand with his back against the wall because you can't fucking shuffle over 3 inches to get by. What a fucking arrogant move. Once they passed us, we were allowed to come off the wall and fucking mingle in the hallway again. I literally never looked at Aerosmith the same after that. Now, that was a long-winded story to explain that the don't meet your heroes trope is true every now and again. And it definitely rang true with some of my guests on this show over the years. And I'm pretty sure you guys know who these people are. They will never be on the show again, no matter how big they were or no matter how big they still currently are. Pop clock! Listen, it's 2023 now. Don't be a Repta bitch. Repta is coming into the new year strong because they are literally the best coconut substrate on the fucking planet. Who would have thought that you could do innovative shit with a piece of fucking coconut? But that's what Repta is doing. Repta Earth, Baby Chip, Repta fucking Chunk. They got it all over there. I mean, literally every type of chip for every type of reptile that you own. Get on the fucking Repta train today over at reptichip.com. Okay, so how fucking cool has the 15 minutes of lane contest been these last couple of weeks? Holy shit, I loved what all the competitors did this year, and it was the first year where it almost seemed like it was a family competition. I mean, we had collabs with the contestants, there was a bunch of like good-natured ribbing, and all of you fucking bastards just really brought the heat. You know how I know it was successful? We had over 16,000 votes. The timelines were flooded with Snakes and the Fatman 15 minutes of lame contest ads. My people were constantly promoting the fact that something fun will win over bullshit drama every time. I can't even thank the contestants enough, and I definitely can't thank all of you guys that voted every fucking day. In case you didn't hear, Leviathan Snakes has won the 15 minutes of lane contest of 2022. Steven and Courtney will now take their place with industry giants like Shane Kelly, Antoine Hood, and the old Fatman here. All right, let's talk about Redline Shipping here, and I'm gonna read the ad because Robin just gave me new copy today and I didn't have time to memorize it yet. Redline Shipping is the #1 service for all of your live reptile, aquatic, and invertebrate shipping needs. Email Robin, with a Y, at redlineshipping.com to get your own custom discount to save you money over any of the competition. That's right. Since we're in winter, live shipping is less frequent due to the cold temperatures, but you could ship your merchandise and dry goods year-round with Redline Shipping. Merchandise can be shipped with overnight, 2-day, 3-day, and ground services. Just like UPS, but better prices than UPS. If you follow the Redline Shipping guidelines for temperature and heat pack use, you could ship live animals throughout the winter and still make use of Redline Shipping on-time and live arrival insurance. Who's not fucking around now? RedlineShipping.com has the best website and interface in the industry, including features and functions that no other service offers. None. Zero. Zip. Zilch. The site is fast, smooth, and easy to use. Use code Fatman5 there for an extra $5 off your already discounted rates. Redlineshipping.com is the spot. It's the, what do they call it in Seinfeld? It's the place to be, okay? Join Team Redline and be better off red. So because Courtney and Steven of Leviathan Snakes won the 15 minutes of lane contest, they got to pick their first 15 minutes of lane contestant for the new year. They have personally chosen Brandon Nixon of Nixon Reptiles to come on here, pimp his fucking wares, and hang with the Fatman. Let's just hope that he doesn't suck and we fucking get to start the new year of 15 minutes of lane contestants with a fucking bang. But before we do that, do you know the guy that even makes 15 minutes of lane possible? The biggest fucking dog in the game, Justin Kabilka. All right, I have to read this ad because Justin just made a fucking change, and this is all new, and I have not committed it to memory yet. That being said, I am doing this commercial with no pants on. The ball python industry has never been more complex, but Clutch makes managing your collection simple. This brand new cloud-based web platform created by Canova allows you to create, search, and filter your ball python inventory with ease. Visualize your projects with innovative analytics and insights. Keep track of past, present, and future clutches with a virtual incubator. And connect every customer with the perfect animal using a robust, Jesus, we got to change that fucking word. I hate that word. A robust waitlist system. You could join the beta waitlist today at clutch.io. That's CLTCH.io for a chance to test the product ahead of the official release expected in mid-January of 2023. Get ready to discover the power of your collection whenever inspiration strikes. I'm doing this with no pants on.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Snakes in the Fatman proudly brings to you its new breeder segment, 15 Minutes of Lame!
Hey guys, it's Justin at Canova. So in the past few years, Canova's become the top source for amazing ball pythons. Now Chris tells me, Justin, it's time to give back. So we're sponsoring the 15 Minutes of Lane to support the new and upcoming breeders. So jump in here. Let's hear your ideas. Let's hear your thoughts. Maybe you can turn your 15 minutes of lame into 20 years of lame, just like I did. If you want to be the man, you got to beat the man. So bring it.
15 Minutes of Lame!
All right, everybody, first fucking show of the year, and you know what that means. It means that the winner of the 15 Minutes of Lane contest, Leviathan Snakes, got to pick their first guest for their first episode of the new year. Everybody, this is Brandon Nixon over at Nixon Reptiles. What's going on, brother?
Not too much, just getting off work and hanging out with you.
Cool. Well, thanks for taking the time to do this. So right off the bat, I'm going to ask you what I ask everybody else. Like, why you? You're in Maryland. Why would anybody buy anything from you instead of Ozzy or Tom Bernhardt or all the other big guys there? What's your deal out there?
Well, compared to those guys specifically, they work on different projects than I do. So
Okay.
There's that. But aside from that, I literally have no other reason other than you may happen to like me more than you like somebody else.
Right.
Because everybody produces the same pet rocks.
Exactly. That's the whole thing. What's the number that you're at right now as far as snakes go?
I'm like a little over 200, between 200 and 250, somewhere around there.
Shit, that's a lot. And how many breeder females do you have versus breeder males versus holdbacks versus babies?
Well, most of those are going to be babies. I've got around like 150 or so animals that are in like a ARS baby rack. And then I've got, I've got a 55-40 and a 70-30, and most of those are females. So I probably have maybe a total of 15 males, roughly.
Okay, that are breedable.
Breedable males, I've got maybe 10 that I'm
Okay.
using. Yeah.
And
And then
how
a
long
couple
have
that
you
are
been
coming
doing
up.
this?
Quite a while, actually. I mean, I started out with boas, and then I've only recently got into the ball pythons. Starting in like 2019 is when I started picking up ball pythons.
Okay, and according to your Instagram, you've done shows, right?
Oh, just a couple, yeah.
Okay, and what would your first year, let's say, how many clutches did you have?
This was that. Well, more or less, this is my first year with ball pythons. I
Okay,
produced some double het sunset albinos in 21, and that was almost on an accident. I put my male in, never seen action, pulled him out, didn't think anything of it, was checking waters one day, and she's sitting on a pile of eggs. So kind of a
and
surprise thing. And then this
were
season I
you
had 18.
prepared?
Yeah, I had an incubator ready. I was all set. Yeah.
Right. Well, because you've done boas prior to that, they don't really need an incubator, right?
Correct. But I didn't want to put myself in a situation if I didn't have what I needed.
Right. No, I gotcha.
So, and then this
Uh,
year I had 18 clutches.
okay. And what do you think about the local shows there? Like, do you do the Gettysburg show and
Yeah,
some of the other
just the
local?
Gettysburg. I've done the I do the Gettysburg every time that it's there, and then well, at least now we've done I think 3 of them, and then I have also done the Four State and More show, which is a somewhat newer show, but it's a little bit smaller, but
Right.
it's kind of nice. It's not kind of as crazy, but overall, those are the 2 shows that we've done.
Have you ever been down to one of the national shows like Daytona or Tinley or Arlington?
I went to Daytona just this past year, and then I actually lived in Chicago when I was a recruiter. So I was out there for a couple years. So I went to several Tinleys, back in, I don't know, 2008, 9, and 10.
Right. Well, as a new guy, what did you think of Daytona?
Eh,
Right? It's fucking a piece of shit show, right? It's just
I
it's
felt like
nothing.
I wasted time there, and I feel like I should have just went to Tinley instead. But
Right.
I haven't gone to Daytona, so I didn't know anything about it. And I just kind of went and the only thing was I actually met Steven in person and I met Brock in person. I've met Brock a few times before, but I was able to meet and hang out with them and talk to them for a little bit. Aside from that, as a show, the Tinley show is just way better.
Yeah, Daytona is more of a it's worth going just to hang out kind of a show.
Yeah.
Like afterwards at the Hilton. It's not even worth hanging out at the show
Yeah. See, we didn't
because
even do that. We went there, we wandered around, and then we left.
oh no,
So,
no. The fun part is hanging out at the Hilton and hanging out, on the beach at fucking 2 in the morning. But Tinley is more like it's more of like a job kind of
yeah.
vacation. Like it's a working vacation. Um, have do you plan on vending the national shows anytime this year or the next?
I told myself that I would like to do Tinley, not this year, or 2023, but in 2024, I would like to. Just
Okay.
because at that point, I feel like I would have some. I'd kind of do the Levance thing, right, where he just brings some stuff to show off and a couple things to sell, and that's pretty much it. Because at the end of the day, that show is mostly for networking, and most shows just are for networking. I think, just
Mhm.
in general, get yourself out there to a degree.
Well, yeah, Ozzy does the same thing. Ozzy'll bring 15, 20 snakes and not put a price on them and
Yeah.
not sell any of them. Yeah.
And it's
And
less to deal with too.
oh yeah, yeah, especially getting it home. You started doing balls full time in 2019, right?
No, I still have boas.
Okay.
Yeah, I still
But
got boas, berms, blood pythons, and ball pythons. So,
well, and when you vend, do you put everything out at the table?
so far I've just produced boas and ball pythons. So, but
Okay.
yeah, with the shows I've done, I have one display that's boas and one display that's ball pythons.
Okay. And how long have you been doing the other species?
I've had the berms for, I don't know, my oldest one's probably like 7 or 8, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and she slugged out on me this past year, and that was my first time breeding her. So, ideally, hopefully this season I'll produce some Burmese pythons, and then I'm also going to attempt to pair the blood pythons too. I only have a pair of those. They're
Okay.
just really pretty. The golden eyes that produce the magpies. It's just a really cool looking animal.
Right. No, I got you. So let's say 2015, 2014. That's when you got your first reptile.
No, I've had them since I was like in middle school.
Oh,
My first boas I produced was in 2006.
2006. Okay.
Correct.
When
Yep.
when did you start doing this with the intention of making it a business?
I mean, with the boas, I picked up a lot of stuff in 2008, 2010, thinking that it was going to work some kind of way. And the boas just, I don't know, not to give Miguel too much credit, but I remember watching his video in like 2018 or 2019 or something, and he was posting how he was like building his facility outside of his house. And I'm like, this dude's been doing ball pythons for like 2, 3 years, and he's like building a facility. I've kept these boas for so long, and it really hasn't gotten me really much anywhere. I've
Right.
produced some cool stuff, and I do enjoy them. But the thing that's always kept me from the ball pythons is the live feeding aspect, and it's just one of those things you got to get over. But I've been enjoying the ball pythons quite a bit more than the boas, just based on the fact that you can reproduce them a little quicker, and then you can get more satisfaction by seeing your project through, because the success rate is a lot higher with the ball pythons in comparison to the boas,
Right.
at least for me.
All right. So then, I mean, it is fucking a long-winded way around getting around my initial question.
Oh, sure. Sorry.
So since 2019, when you started with the ball pythons,
Yeah,
how much money have you dumped into it?
a lot. I don't know what it was in 2019 or 20, but I know in the past year we've spent like 65 grand or so.
Okay. Okay.
So
So
yeah,
uh,
it adds up.
did you are you one of those guys that just took all your savings and put it into ball pythons?
No, I buy things strategically, and I buy what projects I like and what things I think will work out.
Okay.
So, but I do put a lot into it because I definitely have that kind of all or nothing attitude.
65 grand this year since 2019. I'm going to say you put at least 100 grand into it. Would that be safe to say?
Oh, without a doubt, I'm
Oh,
sure.
okay.
Yeah,
Probably more, right?
consider
Um,
yeah.
how much have you made back so far doing these fucking gay little shows in Morph Market?
Gay little shows, not so much. Gay
Uh,
little shows, we went from like our first show, we did like it's almost doubled every time. We did like 200, then we did like 400 something, and then we did like six or 700 something, and then the last show we did like 1300. And
Okay.
what's kind of funny is out of all those shows, it's actually been boas that have been selling, and I've
Right.
only sold one ball python at any of the shows that we've done. So that's kind of ironic. But Morph Market is where we've sold the majority of the ball pythons and some boas. So
Right.
and this
And
year we've done, I want to say we've done like around like 55, somewhere around there.
you done 55 grand on ball pythons.
Correct. Yeah.
You're fucking
And a couple boas. Yeah.
Yeah, you're fucking killing it, man. So you made half your money back within 5 years.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. And yeah, probably, maybe.
Okay. Well, that's I mean that's not bad at all, man. Your videos, you kind of fucking are killing it on the videos. What got you into doing that and feeling the necessity to do that just to sell snakes?
Funny enough, the same reason why I'm here. And a lot of that's, Steven and Courtney's videos that they've done on their marketing and stuff like that. I enjoy that kind of stuff, and I enjoy doing photography and videography. Like I've always enjoyed doing that stuff. I just didn't really take the time to do it with the snakes as much as I knew I should have.
Right.
And with, just how Instagram and other social media works, it's kind of a necessity to do that. So at least people become more familiar with you, familiar with your animals, and it's some of the things are just a fun way to show things off.
Right. Now do you record everything on a camera for Instagram or do you record it on the phone?
No, I use a Sony ZV-10
Okay.
camera. Yeah.
Okay, because I noticed you also use the DJI wireless mics.
Correct. Yeah.
And when I saw that, I was like, "Oh, all right, this guy's really dumping some money into this."
Yeah.
Because I just started using them and they're
They're
phenomenal.
nice.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
really great. I love the case, the charging case.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
really sleek.
yeah, it just does everything that you didn't have to do before. All right, so let's just talk about some sponsors here real quick. Obviously, you have a Morph Market account, right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay, so at 55 grand, fucking John Lehman does not give you a fuck you right off the bat. Okay, have you ever been to a herp show?
I have not. They're not in the area.
Yeah, no. Sometimes it's worth traveling. Sean Gray is
Yeah.
just standing there giving you the fucking big fuck you.
He's
face.
he's down in Texas though, right?
Texas, Louisiana,
Yeah.
and Oklahoma. Yeah,
That's one place we've considered eventually moving to is Texas, but who knows? We'll see.
that's still no excuse for never getting
Yeah.
to a fucking herp show, man. All right. Now, Reptichip. Do you use Reptichip?
I don't.
Wow, what the fuck, dude? Really?
I
You're
use
a
the
fucking
chipper stuff.
What the fuck, man?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
Well, JT,
I can pick it up locally. If I could get a pallet of it, then maybe that'd make it a little cost effective. But until then,
regardless, JT gives you a big old fuck you,
Yeah.
man. Have you ever bought a snake from Justin, and do you use that clutch software?
I do. Yeah, I'm part of his Patreon as well, so we got that early access. It's just a lot of animals to put in, but I have
Right.
several animals from him as well. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So Justin Kabilka does not give you a fuck you at all. Okay,
I would hope not.
right? Have you ever used SD Design for any kind of logo or marketing?
Nope. I have not.
And you're not even explaining that one. You're just like, nope. So Blake
Nope.
Stewart fucking slapping you with a middle finger, like giving you a big old fuck you. Do you have a focus cubed habitat cage?
Also no.
Perhaps? Yeah, I wouldn't move to Texas if I were you. I got to be honest. Like fucking,
I'm making some enemies. Yeah.
yeah, nothing from JT, nothing from Sean, nothing from fucking Steven and Ashley. Jesus Christ, you're basically giving Texas a big fuck you right now. That's all you're doing. Have you ever bought anything that I already know the answer from this? From Geeky Gecko Creations out there in Arizona.
No, none of my reptiles have legs.
Yep, you're just like fuck you, Frank. Man, oh my God, you are not doing well at this, my friend.
No.
Do you have any kind of sea serpent racks or incubators in your house?
I do. Yeah. Sea serpent racks, and I plan on getting an incubator from them at this upcoming show in March.
Yeah, the incubators are fucking awesome too. Okay, so
I like those way better than the AP incubator that I currently have.
right.
It just looks way nicer.
So Chris Nettles does not give you a fuck you. So you did
Making
okay.
progress.
Yeah, for a military guy, I thought you would have did better. But if people want to get in touch with you, how could they do that?
Just Nixon Reptiles on Instagram and on YouTube. But Instagram's the easiest way to obviously message.
Are you a Facebook guy or no?
And I do the same lazy thing that you do, and that's just auto send everything over there.
That's right. It doesn't matter now anyway because your fucking time is up. But that is the way to do it. I mean that's at least for old people. How old are you?
36.
Yeah, you're still in that I know how to use Instagram fucking phase. I am well past that. So
I watch videos about it. So
yeah, I tried to do that and I just got fucking aggravated with the whole thing. Brandon, thank you so much for being the first contestant on 15 Minutes of Lame of 2023. I appreciate you taking the time, man.
Thanks for having me. And I already know I'm not going to be able to hold a candle to what, Steven and Courtney did this past, election season.
Yeah, fucking Steven and Courtney did a lot.
Yeah.
Almost like to an ass kissing level.
But it worked.
But it worked. Yeah, so I can't give him shit for it. Dude, thank you so much for being here, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Brother.
Snakes and the Fatman proudly brings to you its new breeder segment, 15 Minutes of Lame!
Listen, guys, Stewart Design doesn't just create logos, they build brands. What do I mean by this? Well, your brand has both a verbal and visual side. Think of this as your brand message and brand image. Your brand message is what initially draws clients to you and continually generates new business. After that, the quality of your product and service keeps them coming back and retains them. Without effective messaging, you're only going to be connecting with a small percentage of the clients you could be connecting with. Your brand message helps you clearly define who you are, how are you different from your competitors, what value you offer to your clients, and why potential clients should choose you over others. For this reason, Stewart Design always starts branding projects by developing your brand's message first. Creating a logo without understanding why and how it needs to look is only going to hold your company back and should be considered fucking malpractice. Stewart Design starts by clarifying your goals, audience, and industry. Then they form your messaging. After that, they strategically determine what colors, styles, and fonts make the most sense to use. And then finally, how the logo needs to look and function. You see, the visual identity of a company should be a natural result of proper strategy. Because the question really shouldn't be, do I like this? It should be, will this work? Stewart Design figures out what will actually work and provides you with a true investment to grow your business. When done right, it should attract the right people and it should reflect your business properly. It should make your company more memorable, and it should build trust and credibility with your clients. On the other hand, if it's done poorly, it could do the exact opposite. It could make you look amateur and can actually deter your business. Don't settle for a fucking idiot that simply offers you a cheap logo. Build your brand the right way. Bring out your best so you could get it right from the start and finally move out of your mother's fucking basement, crush it at Tinley, Pomona, or Arlington, and build a life for yourself doing what you love. Contact Stewart Design today. You could reach them at sdidentity.com. Again, that's sdidentity.com. Holy shit. How much did these guys just crush the competition this year? These guys showed how to run a campaign with class, dignity, and fucking cinematic reels where you thought that you were watching a preview at a fucking movie theater for things to come. And I guess that's kind of true. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret here. The first video that I saw from Steven and Courtney probably about a year ago really just pissed me the fuck off. It was some kind of like marketing your ball python business bullshit. And it had like a fucking billion views on it. I was like, who the fuck are these two who at that time I had never heard of that are telling you how to market your ball pythons after they've literally had like 2 minutes in the fucking game and they had more fucking views than I did. Turns out I was wrong. It also turns out that they're like a brilliant fucking power couple whose ideas on marketing and selling could actually teach a ton of people about how to do things the right way. It just goes to show that coming from a marketing and statistics background gives you a different insight on how to work this whole fucking ball python game. And after meeting them last month, I could honestly say that they're two of the coolest people in the hobby to hang out with. So once again, the Fatman was wrong in the biggest way possible. How often do you hear a fucking podcast host in this hobby admit that they're wrong? Fucking never. It's just another thing about me that makes me like me more. Here's my three-way with Courtney and Steven from Leviathan Snakes. What's up, everybody? Look who I have here. I have the winner of the 2022 15 Minutes of Lane contest. Fucking Steven and Courtney Capps. First of all, congratulations, guys. And second, how are you?
Doing well. And thank you. Thank you, Chris friend.
Yes, we earned it.
Yeah, you guys did a fuck of a job, man. So I don't think anybody was looking at you guys thinking, yeah, they don't deserve it, you know? So very, very proud of you guys.
Thank you.
No, we had a lot of fun, and it was just a blast. Like, so much stuff about the contest was super fun. A lot of the other people that were in it made it awesome. Like, it was a really, really good experience.
We tend to go overboard, so
you guys definitely helped with making it fun and raising the bar as far as fucking videos go, you know. So you guys fucking killed it. Now you guys are from North Carolina, right?
We're in South Carolina. I'm originally from North Carolina, and he's from Illinois.
Yep.
Okay.
But we're in South Carolina now.
How did you guys meet?
Tinder.
Yeah, Tinder.
And Bumble. No, so we both moved down here from out of state. I moved down for work. You moved down in a relationship. And then relationship was bad. No relationship at all. And we were both on dating apps. And then we bonded over fantasy novels and Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. We're pretty hardcore over here, not nerdy at all.
Yeah.
So the cool stuff, yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
No, that's fucking badass, man.
Yeah, one date and
yep.
had him tied up in the basement.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know that's obviously the way you should do it. I knew from getting kidnapped by you guys that both of you had experience in it, so it was just something I didn't question at the time. You know.
I hope that you'll leave us a 5-star review on Airbnb, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You've got 5-star reviews all day long.
Yeah.
Now, and who are some of your big influences starting up this? Like what made you, or who made you see what they did and figured, I can make a business out of this? Like who were some of the big influences?
So
YouTube for you.
Yeah. But do you want to answer?
No, you have a better answer.
Okay. So for me, I think that when we first got into it, like a lot of people, we weren't really involved with the community at all beforehand. Like, we got our first ball python, and Courtney had turtles beforehand. Courtney got her first ball python. He was the best pet. And we were like, oh, let's just breed some. Not even thinking of it as a business, just as like a hobby. And it wasn't until Courtney went on to Instagram to make like reptile accounts, and every single name that she tried to pick was already taken, that she started realizing that there was like a bigger community out there. And I would say that it wasn't until diving into the YouTube world, so like watching stuff from, I was like Brian Cusco, Canova, but at the time Justin Kabolka, all of that stuff where it was like, oh wow, this is really, really cool. And I think that when I saw, because Courtney started it all, when I saw the amount of interest that she was getting on Instagram, I just, by working in marketing, was like, that's way more engagement than normal. Like, people are paying attention to you. You're starting stuff. You're growing very, very quickly. And the marketing angle, besides like the animals being cool, is what really caught my eye. I was like, Courtney has something here.
As far as our like social media, I think Cusco is who influenced our YouTube style. So Steven used to watch his videos and be like, that's the type of like cinematic level I want our videos at. And then as far as like animals and projects, I feel like we find just snakes that we like. We find pictures of pretty animals and we're like, I'm gonna make that.
Okay. So some of the bigger breeders out there, who's your influences now?
Brock Wagner, Brad Boa are like people that we really like, and we like pretty much pay attention to everything that they put out, just because we're in the Sunset Project. That's my favorite project, and they're like the leaders of it right now.
For me, it's Josh Lundberg at the Ball Python Shed, Josh and Jackie. I really like the asphalt side of things. So both him and then Michael from Dreamweaver. I like asphalt, and those two are really big into asphalt and put out stuff that I'm super impressed by and want to copy.
And then slightly different, not so much on animals, but on like business. And I know that like a lot of people say this, but Canova, I think, is one of the few businesses that I look at from like a marketing angle, like, oh, they know exactly what they're doing. Like their product launches for like the Kraken or the Pompeii or stuff like that is like product marketing 101, but executed perfectly.
Oh, all right. Well, how come more stuff didn't rub off on you? Right. Okay. Now, Steven looks like a guy whose dad wrote a lot of 80s TV cop dramas like Hill Street Blues and Cagney and Lacey and shit like that. Okay. Did you use Cagney and Lacey money to finance your collection, or did you finance your collection from an actual job?
Actual job and gambling with short-term expiry stock options. That's the hobby I was in before this.
No, but we didn't make any money off of that. So no, that didn't have anything to do with how we... No, both of us work full-time. Neither of us come from money. Not that family isn't like involved or anything. Not shitting on our family or anything. But they didn't have anything to do with paying for the snakes. And they still don't. But no, both of us put all of our own personal money into it.
All right. Courtney, what do you do?
I am a market research analyst at the moment for a bank, an agricultural bank. I just got done doing analytics for a poultry company. I was doing that for a little over 5 years, and I just moved over to a bank to do it market research rather than trials like on like feed or medication trials and testing.
Okay, and Steven, what about you?
I run the digital marketing for the same bank.
For the same bank?
Yeah.
So you guys actually work together?
We do now, yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Same department.
And do both of you go into an office every day and
work from home? I do.
Yeah.
You go into the office a couple of days a week.
Yeah, I work from home Mondays and Fridays, and then I go into the office Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Okay. Oh, so that's not bad. Do you ever get sick of each other?
Only
No.
when he snores.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah, I know. Cheesy. Ugh. We do everything together all the time. Everything.
Okay. Well, and you guys have only been doing this for about 4 years, right?
Yeah.
This is our third season now.
Producing.
Okay. All right. So how many animals do you actually have in the collection? And when you first got into this and you decided that it was something that you wanted to run as a business, what was the ramp up in accumulating animals? Like did you grow out your own collection, or did you immediately go out and buy a bunch of breeder ready females?
So we did a little bit of both. So when we first started, I had gotten a pet snake and I thought he was really cool. And when I had been purchasing him, I actually got him from Dynasty Reptiles. I had seen all of these different snakes that were so cool. And I was like, I want all of them. But I picked one, I picked my favorite. And a couple weeks later, a friend of mine that I used to work with, I saw on Facebook that her boyfriend had produced a clutch of eggs and he had hit a super banana. And I was like, that is so cool. I have a pet snake. I could do the same thing. I could get a super banana. The super banana looks really cool. I want that. So I asked
was this a ball python, your first snake?
A ball python, yes.
And was it obviously if you bought it from Dynasty, it probably wasn't a normal, right?
No, it was a banana hidden gene Woma calico.
Hidden gene Woma.
Yeah,
oh,
okay. So I didn't know anything about snakes at all. I knew ball python. I wanted a ball python. I looked up ball pythons and I looked up boas, and I decided I wanted a ball python because they looked cuter. And I got a pet ball python and I loved him so much. And the experience with Dynasty was perfect for a new pet owner, because I got on Morph Market and these people are like, yeah, I'll send you the snake. You have to PayPal friends and family me and I'll mail them to you. And I was like, that's weird. I don't like that. I've never seen snakes before or seen a breeding facility or anything. To me, pets come from Craigslist or Petco. I don't know. I've only ever had dogs and turtles that I got from Myrtle Beach. I had no idea the right way to do it. And I Googled it. Dynasty was the first one that came up, and I had a great experience with him. It was really great, honestly. And I love that snake. He's fantastic. But I was like, I want to make more. I want to make a super banana because I saw a super banana and it looks cool. And that was my only goal at first. I was like, I'm going to make a Facebook account for all these snakes I'm going to get. I'm going to get 2 adults and then I'm going to have the babies. And Steven was like, that's too many snakes. 8 snakes? Are you crazy? And they could have even more than that. And I was like, well, it'll be fine. We'll try to sell them. We could sell them on this morph market thing that I found or Craigslist or something. I had no idea how to do it right. And then when Steven, we went to our first Repticon and Steven got on Morph Market and we had really started actually seeing what ball pythons were all about. He was like, I want clown. And we went to our first Repticon and came home with 5 more snakes.
All over the place. No plan. No. Just
like a het clown male and a het.
And I was going to say, with no plan, what kind of snakes did you buy?
All babies, except for one. We got 1 adult banana pastel leopard het albino. I had an albino female to pair him to. He did not prove out to be het albino, by the way.
No way at a Repticon they lie.
No. And I was like, why would they lie about that? It's a $300 snake with het albino and a $295 snake without het albino. And so we got him. We got a 40-gram Azanthic female, a Mojave het clown female, an Enchi het clown male, and I feel like one more. I think we got one more, but that was it. It was nothing that went together at all.
And how much was spent at this Repticon?
Honestly, for $600, $700, $800.
Yeah,
which was insane to us at the time.
Right.
Yeah, we go in the Morph Market, we see a snake for $1,000. We're like, who would spend $1,000 on a snake?
That's ridiculous. We could make that in 8 years. So yeah, that's what we did. And of all of those snakes, we still have the Azanthic female.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the banana leopard male, who did not prove out to be het albino, he's actually sired a couple clutches for us because pet owners really like banana and leopard together, and they make really good pets. And we do some shows, and they sell out immediately. But yeah.
So I would say that was our initial things. When I started getting into it, I dove into the YouTube world, and I very quickly because it was still right around that beginning part. I felt that if we were going to try to do it as a business, that we should try to have one higher end project that we could kind of work in addition to all of the other stuff.
Right. But not to get ahead.
Yeah.
But when did you decide to do it as a business? Was it at that Repticon?
No, not quite yet. I don't.
So I think we were still hobby level at that point. I'm pretty sure once we went to maybe our 3rd or 4th Repticon, once we hit about 15 snakes, it was we could do this for real. Before we got any of them, I was we had wanted to do a food truck / check cashing business. I know that sounds silly, but a lot of people get their checks cashed at a gas station where you can also get food. And I was like, oh, we'll go to all these plants or industrial places, serve food on payday, and we'll cash the checks. And anyway, that was my plan. And I was telling Steven oh, we could do a business. Dynasty is really cool, but I feel a lot of these are geared towards guys with tattoos and motorcycles. Right. And there's a ton of pet owners out there, and who's there for these pet owners who want nope ropes? You know what I mean? Snacks. Yeah. And I was there's not a big place for that, and I bet we could do that. At the time, that sounded cool. Now I know that those are the worst customers half the time.
Oh yeah. Well, but also it's better than, and I can't even believe I'm saying this, selling ball pythons is probably better than having to have an armored food truck. Thousands of dollars worth of cash every fucking day.
Yeah. It made a lot of sense at the moment.
It just seems rife for a fucking robbery. But plus, you'd probably have to spend $400,000 on the truck
Yeah.
to be able to legally do it as some kind of federally, transporting money kind of thing. But in a perfect world, it sounds like a good idea, right?
Yeah, I thought it was genius. If anything, I wanted to do the food truck.
Right.
The check cashing was just like a thought I had when I had to stand in line at a gas station one day, and I was like, "Oh, what if I came to you?"
Right.
So at this point in it, I was kind of on the sidelines. Like I was watching, I thought it was cool, but I hadn't really dived into it yet. The hobby I had right before this, and I say hobby because I was gambling, and I was gambling with stock options, and it would stress Courtney out really bad. Because it would be like, hey, I made $4,000 today, and then the next day, I lost $3,000, and she would not let me talk about it with her.
Yeah, I hated that.
So what?
But in reality, I mean, isn't that exactly what you're doing now, just with a different form?
Yeah, but it's more fun because we can do it together.
Yes, it is exactly what we're doing now, but the difference that I would say between stock options and snakes is that stock options, a lot of it's outside of your control. You're just trying to ride the waves, because nothing that we're going to do is going to influence whether or not Amazon's going to go up 3% in a day or not. Right. But with ball pythons, the effort that we put in marketing ourselves, customer service, sales, all that stuff directly affects how well we can do. And it feels like that there's a little bit more control that we have over it. And it's not like we're making those massive swings in a single day, which, again, stressed Courtney out. So
He says that like it's a weird thing, that I hated hearing that he lost $5,000.
But when you buy a $5,000 snake now, isn't it essentially...
You have something to show for it.
Yeah, I guess. But, with the way the ball python market goes, though, next year that same snake could be worth $1,800.
You're right. And we noticed that this year. Last year, we could sell something like a banana clown female for $2,500, and this year it's $12,000. And the thing is, we do sell a lot to pet owners, and we have a really good market with pet owners. We have a lot of people who have bought from us repeatedly and are really great customers, and they want the under $500 snake. And when we are aiming for a $2,000 snake, something that's mid-range, the ones that you don't hit, those are those pet level animals, and we definitely have a really awesome group that is pretty loyally buying from us, and they're really cool people.
I think that, and this is things this is getting ahead, this is getting off topic. I know we're still talking about ramping up and all that stuff. I don't think that it is possible. I do not think it's pragmatically possible to make a full-time business selling pet snakes.
No.
I think that it takes too many animals, too much work, that it's ultimately not worth it. I think that the only real way to do it is to go off of $5,000 animals.
Right. Because even if you sell, $100, $300 snakes, the amount of work that's involved putting, you have to have employees when you hit that point, right? So right away, $30,000 a year of that profit is gone, right? So the guys that do the pet shop and the kind of byproduct sales are producing 5 to 8,000 snakes a year, and they have massive fucking overhead. A lot of them, and I'm talking businesses like Dynasty and Wilbanks, and I think Dynasty has something like 5 warehouses that they breed snakes in. So I imagine they have at least 20 people working for them. But the nice thing about when you're going that hard is that you're going to produce 25% $5,000 snakes, and I assume that makes up for it, but that's not where you guys want to go, right?
No. So what really got us focused on it becoming a business was Steven getting into Sunset. That's when it was like, this makes sense. We could get a clutch of eggs, 6 eggs worth between $6,000 and $10,000, and replace one could replace half of your income.
We bought a visual sunset male from Brock Wagner, October of 2020, I think it was, and he went for us this season. This was his first season breeding, 2022. We got 5 clutches from him, and we probably quadrupled the amount of money that we invested in him that we actually got in return from sales from his snakes.
And they were our easiest sales that we made. Oh my gosh, the way people the difference between somebody again, we have really great low price range customers, but we also have a lot of tire kickers, a lot of people who say, hey, can I go ahead and put $50 down? And then weird experiences. People who want to buy a Sunset, they say, hey, here's the money.
Right.
When you can send the snake.
That's always the way it's been.
Yeah.
Even when we were doing it, 5 and 10 years ago, the $300 people were just the worst. And the $10,000 people were
a breeze.
Zero problem. They sent the money, we put it in a box, we shipped it off. Never heard from them again. The $300 people were like, my snake had a stuck shed last week. I don't know what to do. I'm contacting you. And then we had a wholesale guy that we would sell a lot of our shit to that would actually say, okay, this snake came from eyeballs. So if you ever have a problem,
call them.
And I was like, then what the fuck are we selling it to you for, man? Fucking, it's you see all the same things happening now that people get surprised from, and you think, why the fuck are you surprised from this? This is, this is how it's been for the last, probably 30 years, But so how many snakes do you have now?
I actually have notes because I got all this. So we have 70 breeders, holdbacks, not for sale snakes. We have 70, and then we have 20 snakes that are available right now. So for a total of 90.
And those aren't really on Morph Market or anything. We're kind of just hanging on to them until we do another show. They're just kind of residuals from.
Yep. We produced 103 this year, and we've sold, or they're on payment plan, 66. We had 19 holdbacks.
Okay. All right. Well, that's not bad. Now, what is the clutch goal that you think that you guys are going to be happy with?
30 to 50.
Yeah. So Steven is much higher than I am. I'll be because I'm the one who does the feedings. I'm the one who takes care of the hatchlings and stuff. So Steven's next year, maybe in 2 years, we could have 100 clutches. And I was like, I don't have time for 100 clutches. I have time for 10.
We had 100 clutches our first year.
Oh,
who gets that lucky? We were just breeding everything, right?
How did you do that? Well, they're shut down, babe.
We did it the absolute wrong way. We had access to an ass ton of money. We bought breeder fucking females, and somebody was like, breed 120, you'll get 60 clutches, right? Yeah. And I was like, 60 clutches would probably be 360 snakes. I could probably do that. Yeah, and then every fucking animal that we bred fucking laid eggs that year. And we had to buy, first year, we had to buy 4 4-foot incubators. Okay.
We had a refrigerator that we put heat tape in.
We were 3 at a time. Buy 1 refrigerator size incubator, small college fridge. And yeah, it was so insane. So fucking, be careful what you wish for, man. 100 clutches, dude, is a lot of work.
No, I think we learned after 13 this year, 13 or 14 that we had this year, we learned that our limit is closer to, if we're both still working full time, our limit is going to be possibly double what we did this year until one of us. Yeah, until one of us is doing the snakes full time, we don't have time for much more. Unless, if they were spaced out throughout the year more, that'd be great. But you don't really get to choose that, do you? Our first year, we had 6 5 or 6, and then this year we did about 13.
Yeah, I think we did 14 with 2 of them being collaborative, where we split the clutch, so we counted as 13.
Yeah.
Right. And how did that work out, that collaborative effort? I mean, did you guys have like a contract? Like, fucking, what if there was only one egg? How do you split that?
Yeah.
We were really like fortunate to have done it with somebody that we trusted very well. We were also really fortunate to have gotten 10 eggs from one clutch and 7 eggs from the other clutch.
Right.
So we did it with Troy from Balls and Strikes, and
he's a nice guy.
Yeah, super great guy, and he has been just phenomenal to us. So he had a couple females that he wanted to pair to our Sunset boy. So that way he had an ultra male girl and then a chocolate inchy pastel desert ghost girl. So that way we could get a lot of double hets. And we didn't have any ultra male or desert ghost. He didn't have any Sunset at the time. So it was mutually beneficial. And it went fantastic, to be honest.
Yep. But yeah, no, we went through every single, like, if there's one egg, who gets it? And like, we like doing 2 different clutches, like 2 different females, we felt was like helping out. So like in the ultra male, we had first pick of the females. In the desert ghost, he had first pick of the females. And there's like various different things. Like we tried to get as like detailed to it as possible, but we also were in our minds, like when we talked about it, the spirit of the collaboration was a 50-50 split. So in fact, originally what we had it set up was that we get first pick of the females in the ultra male clutch. Troy gets first pick of the females in the desert ghost clutch. And if there was an odd number of eggs, the person who had the second pick of the females got the extra egg. So the ultra male clutch happened, 10 eggs in it. It ended up being 5 males and 5 females. So we got 2 males, 3 females. And then the desert ghost clutch dropped. There were 7 eggs in it. So based off of that original thing, we were going to get the extra female from the ultramale clutch, and we were going to get the extra egg in the desert ghost clutch. So once that happened, we actually like talked with Troy, and Troy like brought it up, and we actually shifted it. So that way
he got the extra
egg.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, how important do you think that is to have like an ironclad, kind of agreement? Because a lot of these people that do, collabs with other breeders, somebody always gets fucked, and then you hear about that person that fucked them 6 months later.
I think it's super important. I think that somebody needs to know, like before it happens, they need to have every single potential possibility that you can think of ironed out, but then also have like an intent of the collaboration, because there's going to be something that happens that you don't foresee.
And if you can't sit down and talk with someone about that, if y'all can't get like agree and talk about all of the different and spend the time to do that, you don't need to be collaborating with them. We've had a ton of people reach out to us for collaborations, which is essentially like, hi, I have a snake. It's a
male clown.
A male clown. Can I pair it to one of your females?
Can I pair it to your Sunset and take home the clutch?
It's just the most bizarre request. It'll be like a pet owner. They're like, can we get I'll just take the first 2 eggs, the first 2 picks, and then you can have the rest of the babies. They're all yours. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to pair your clown to my super asshole. It's just
right. There has to be a mutual benefit to the entire thing. Otherwise, you're just wasting time. And I would think that with all the struggles that you see other people who are doing joint projects with, you would think that they would know to do that by now, but a lot of them don't, so it's really dead set important to figure out every option, like fucking like everything. And I would start off with, if things went wrong, what happens, if things go right, that'll be the second part of the contract, now, if I were, because you guys basically, I don't want to talk about Sunset all that much, right?
Okay.
But because you guys go on every shitty podcast that fucking asks you to come on, you're like the Brendan Fraser of reptile.
Nicolas Cage
or the Nicolas Cage. But like, they put the script in front of you, you'll fucking do it. Now, what's the other than Sunset project that you plan on investing in next?
Investing in next?
Yeah.
So does just started count?
Yeah, just started.
Yeah, so Nyala, it's a gene that is like pretty big in South Africa right now, but it's only just now coming over to the US. We imported a Nyala clown male from Wally at BPM Reptiles. They imported it to Bush. Yeah, Wally and Roxy. Rozzy, sorry. They imported it to Bushveld up in Rhode Island, and then we brought it down here. So the Nyala clown stuff specifically is something we're super interested in. It's a darker gene, kind of like Stranger Mahogany. And we really like it. We really like it specifically in clown. We want to put it in Sunset. We want to put it in Freeway, Asphalt, stuff like that. But that's one that we don't see in the US very much, that I feel like we're one of the first ones to kind of already have Nyala clown started.
And what was the cost on that project, just getting into it?
It wasn't bad. It was, I think we paid $3,500 for it.
With
for
the
him. It wasn't bad.
And everything. And then we also have 2 females that are Nyala het clown. That was what, $1,000 for both of them.
I think it'd be like $1,800
for both.
Is it a co-dom or a recessive?
Yes, it's incomplete dominant. So its super form looks like a Suma. It's like all black and all that stuff, but the other combos look different than like Mahogany, with like Mahogany Leopard and Nyala Leopard looks significantly different. Things like that.
Nyala.
And I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. I always get it like
again, it's a word. I think it's a type of animal in South Africa. It's like kind of like an antelope or something. And I could be really ignorant with that right now because I don't remember. But it's pronounced Nyala. It's a little more nasally. Nyala.
Something from Avatar, right? Like fuck. It's definitely weird. Okay, so that's it's a dark gene that's similar to Mahogany.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We saw a Nyala banana yellow belly clown that Billy had posted as a snake of the week like sometime early in 2022, and we're like, that's wild.
We want that.
That's so cool.
Okay, and that made you think, how was that the first time you ever imported anything?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Well, yes. That we specifically imported. Yes.
Yeah, we bought some imports from Outback, but they had already imported them. That we didn't do anything like for that.
Yeah, well, when you import some, is that not like the most stressful fucking time?
Again, we had Bushveld do the importing, so that was kind of nice. We didn't have to fill out any paperwork or anything, but it was kind of like we bought it in like March. We got them in like July.
Yeah,
and so that was a little. It kind of got to a point where I think we had put maybe a deposit down in March, where it got to like.
Are we going to get?
Do we just need to forfeit the deposit at this point? Do we still like? Are we still expecting it? And not that they were sketchy at all, just more like it's been so long. Did it work out? And then out of the blue, they were like, "Hey, we got your snake. What are you doing next week? Can we ship him?" I was like, "Oh, great."
That's normally how it was. I remember when we imported Stranger, I was just like you had to go to the airport to fucking pick it up. And then when I was dropping it off, I was just like, people know that there's fucking 20 grand in this fucking box right now. I'm definitely getting robbed. Yeah, you know.
Armored food truck to drive.
Yeah, that's when I could have used your armored food truck. Right? All right, so now we're gonna stop talking about snakes for a minute. If I were to come over your house for dinner, what would I be surprised to see?
Like in our house or in
your house, in your personal house?
So that's crazy because normally my answer would be 100 snakes, but
I don't know if you'd be surprised to see it because I don't know.
We're pretty normal.
Yeah, we're pretty normal.
Maybe a lot of Dungeons and Dragons stuff.
But I don't even think you'd be surprised to see that.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't. And actually, I was never a D&D guy, so I probably wouldn't even notice it. But yeah, okay. Well,
God, I don't think so.
It leads me to my next question. It's like when I met Steven, he was the first guy that I could really like compare to Captain America, right? Like fucking, but not in the way he looks or in the way he acts or anything else that makes Captain America Captain America. But was this look intentional for you? Like you're gonna look like the all-American fucking dude and fucking this is how you're gonna go into presenting your videos and all that? Because I noticed it on the campaign thing. I was just like, Courtney is a little bit dressed up.
that was intentional. That was intentional.
But I think Steven just lives every day like this. You know, like is that true?
Kinda. I do. I feel like you are not the first person to say the Captain America stuff. I feel like I'm pretty being nice to myself, like straight edge, but it borders on like naive on stuff. Like there's a whole story that we had about me not knowing that Courtney worked with or you didn't even work with the drug dealer, right? Like what was it?
I brought him to my previous place of employment, and the in-house provider of recreational products asked him if he'd like to purchase anything, and Steven's like, what do you sell? And he's like, mattresses, and Steven's like, that's a weird thing to sell door to door. And it was a little embarrassing for me, honestly, but Steven's very straight edge, very
it just happened. Like it's not an intentional thing. It's just
like Courtney, do you ever think, Jesus Christ, I'm fucking this guy? Like fucking the guy that thought that mattress salesman meant mattress salesman while I'm not at a fucking mattress store?
It does get
no Charlie's, actually.
No Charlie's. No, it does every once in a while. There was a time we went to Atlanta, and this gentleman was trying to invite Steven and the other gentleman in our group. He was trying to sell him a hooker. He was trying to get them to help him out with some of the ladies with him. And I was just watching these men be like, oh, you need a wingman? I got you, buddy. It was not embarrassing, but like I was incredulous watching these three guys talk to somebody with no idea what was happening.
So I thought something weird was going on. I thought he was going to try to like rob us or steal our kidney or something like that. I just didn't know that he was a pimp. Like
I told my mother, my Catholic mother, the same story, and like 4 words in, she's like, prostitutes.
Right.
Like
well, just so you know, Courtney, this is all guys. That we're all that stupid. There's very few that are actually the pimp, and very many more that are the customers. Okay.
Yeah. And not to keep talking about it, but there's like Steven told one of his, like, because Steven was in the National Guard for a while, he told one of his friends in the National Guard with him about the guy who sold mattresses. And he's like, did you know that mattresses is a euphemism for drugs? And his friend was like, do the police know about this? Like, probably.
Jesus Christ. Okay. All right.
Well, I'm really cool, as you can see.
Well, now you guys have amassed a gigantic following in that small to mid-level breeder kind of category, right? Well, like I would say that's probably the majority of your viewers, right?
That's exactly. Newer breeders is a big,
right?
Yeah.
Well, do you ever feel bad for them that none of them will ever reach the level of success that you have doing this?
So I think all of our content is kind of geared towards like showing people exactly what we did to gain the followers that we did, to get the production quality that we have. I think that's really our goal, is to show people this is what we did if you want to do it too.
There have been a lot of people that we've talked to about, like, they'll reach out to us and be like wanting help, like marketing, setting up like that kind of aspect of their ball python business. And I feel like that there's been a handful who have even like attempted to actually do part of the advice that we've given. It's like they'll hear it and then they'll just be like, oh man, that's a lot of work. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. I still don't think even the people getting into this now realize the amount of work it is having over 50 snakes, right?
Oh,
I mean, because if you have over 100, that becomes your full-time job. I mean, and the reality is you're going to work an 8-hour day, and then you're going to come home and work 8 hours more, minimally on your collection. But the nice thing is that during this kind of recession that we're going through, I'm sorry, so I keep looking at, like, Steven is sitting so still.
Please excuse this brief interruption for a word from one of our sponsors. How fucking thrilled am I to have Focus Cubed Habitats joining the Snakes and the Fatman family. They are literally the best display cages that I've ever owned. I was a fan of this husband and wife team of builders from when they were putting out these amazing pieces of fucking art from their garage. Steven and Ashley have been keeping reptiles for years, and as experienced keepers, they understand how important your animals are in your life. Focus Cubed Habitats provide security and comfort for your animals while maintaining these insane, badass designs that everyone can appreciate. They give you the opportunity to make their home part of your home. You want options? They've got options. Every Focus Cubed Habitat is custom made to your specs, and you could choose from hundreds of options on their website. Too many options? Ashley and Steven have a huge selection of blog-style articles and complete accessory fact pages on their website to help educate consumers about add-ons that will best fit their individual needs. Listen, at the end of the day, these fucking cages are showpieces. Every cage that Focus builds will be the centerpiece of your reptile room. Hell, they could be the centerpiece of your fucking living room. If you have reptiles that you want to display, look no further than Focus Cubed Habitats. You can follow them on Instagram, Facebook, and even fucking TikTok. Or just go old school and go right to FocusCubedHabitats.com and tell them that the Fat Man told you to drop them a line.
Hey, this is Robin at Redline Shipping. I've got some Redline Shipping tips and insights here for you. I want to take a quick moment to talk about heat packs for shipping. These things right here, very important for winter shipping. We use them a lot. It's important that you use the correct heat packs and the right number of heat packs. For live animal shipping, the minimum required is the 40-hour heat pack. Here at Redline Shipping, we actually prefer the 72-hour heat pack. The 72-hour heat pack lasts a longer time than the 40, but it also has a nicer temperature profile. Now, what you don't want to use are any heat packs that are shorter duration than the 40. These are the worst things in the world, the hand warmers. There's also foot warmers and toe warmers. Those shorter heat packs are not allowed for live animal shipping, and that's primarily because they don't last the right duration to cover your animals, but they also peak at a much higher temperature. You can see the temperature profiles on our site in the FAQ at redlineshipping.com. You can find our temperature guidelines on when to use a heat pack in the Redline Shipping FAQ. And one of the most important things is to only use a single heat pack in the box. A lot of people get confused, think reptiles like it hot, so I'm going to put a bunch of heat packs. That is the number one cause of DOAs in reptile shipping. So you want to use a single heat pack, and it should be the 40-hour or longer duration. We prefer the 72s. That's it for heat pack use. Here at Redline Shipping, we support great folks doing great work, and we appreciate your support in return. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram. We have a whole family of companies: Redline Shipping, Redline Science for Products, and of course, the Reptile Report's been around for 10 years, supporting breeders, keepers, and hobbyists. Again, we support great folks doing great work. Thanks.
That I keep looking and seeing and thinking that he's frozen. Okay.
Sorry.
We were engrossed here.
The recession coming up is going to kind of weed out, I think, most of those people.
I agree.
But you guys also kind of seem recession proof because of the work that you put in for the last 3 or 4 years.
And that's something we kind of try to tell people is, like, I totally get the idea of I want to have the item before I market it. I want to have this incredible thing that I've produced, and then people will come to me. But kind of our version of things, the way that we've been doing things, is we want people to know who we are, and we want them to see the steps that we've taken, so that when we have that cool thing, they believe us. They
appreciate the buildup, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you guys never just go out and show a sunset. You guys go out and show, hey, we just bought this sunset, and in 2 years we're probably going to be able to make a sunset. And you make other videos in the meantime. But then, you know, every 6 or 7 you show the sunset off again. And you know, this year, like you said, you could finally say, you know, hey, this is you know what we actually produced. And I think that a lot of people see the work that you put in and actually appreciate that work more because of that. Oh, I hate this fucking word. Because of that journey that your fucking viewers have been on with you, you know? And I think that you guys really excel at that. Now, have you guys ever put a video together that you didn't put out because after you were done filming it, you thought, all right, maybe this video looks a little bit too arrogant or a little bit too, you know, look at what we have or anything like that? Like what would be a reason that you would hold back a video that you shot?
If it's too negative, that's one of our
negative or controversial. Steven's had a couple videos that he's gotten himself stressed out about and never posted. And it will be
like what, for instance?
I remember that there was a video that we made that was like things like that reptile breeders do wrong. And it's essentially like, here's all of these things that people do, whether they realize it or not, that wrecks their chances of appealing to their target market. And we end up not doing it because we didn't post it because it was just going to piss people off.
Yeah, and a lot of it is stuff that we hear so often that we know it would piss people off. Like, it's fine saying like, oh, don't do follow for follow, don't buy your followers. But when it's more specific and like, I can't even think of an example now.
One of them that I have, and this isn't like to actually like jump into it, and I know that like you have like mentioned it in like other ones before, and I know that it's like something that happens a lot with like bigger breeders, people who've been part of the hobby for a while. Is they'll say things like, if you haven't been in the hobby for 5 years, like don't post anything. Your opinion doesn't matter. Don't talk about the hobby. Yeah, it's terrible advice. Like the new breeders, they're never going to be selling, and I'm going to say this. 99.999% of new breeders are never going to sell to Kabolka or to Miguel or to anybody like that. So realistically, what Kabolka or Miguel or anybody like that wants to see doesn't matter because they're not their target market.
Yeah. So if your target audience is new breeders, you should market to those new breeders.
Yeah,
and tell
exactly.
those new breeders that you love them.
Yeah.
That you want them to keep buying from you.
Right.
But you're not selling snakes, so you can tell them to
do whatever you want.
Yeah. Honestly, I hate people who've been doing this under 5 years. You guys have, you know, because I'm just like, shut the fuck up. Like you haven't done enough.
Yeah. And are you going to buy a snake from us?
Now I might, being that you're at 15 minutes.
All right.
Well, I didn't know you were in the market, so maybe we'll be nicer to you. I think when you're starting out, going towards like, keep in mind who your target market is.
And a pet owner who might want to buy a single gene banana, because if those are the snakes that you have and that's all that you can produce, they want to see different content than somebody who wants to get into breeding. And somebody who's been breeding for 10 years doesn't want to see a video on how do I know if my ball python is gravid. They don't care. It doesn't matter about it. So our thoughts on a lot of our marketing like stuff, like that's our experience outside of the ball python hobby. The reason why we do that is we feel that people who are going to be investing $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 in a single snake are going to be approaching this as a legitimate business, and they are going to be thinking about what is the marketing strategy that I'm going to have to make myself successful. And realistically, as far as I know, we're pretty much the only like really consistent account on YouTube who talks about marketing in the ball python world.
Yeah, without a doubt. There's other assholes that fucking think they know marketing, you know, and showing videos on how to market your ball python when you know that their previous job was a cashier at Ralph's, you know, so you at least come off as the marketing guy. But like, obviously, I've never heard a bad word about either of you. Okay. Courtney, maybe a little bit for being like cold and unresponsive, but
Really?
Yeah,
Or
but
just you?
not Steven. And normally I side with the hot chick, but I've never heard a bad word about Steven.
Yeah.
I tell a little story before this video is going to air about how the first video that I saw on you, I fucking hated you. But like fucking, it just irritated the piss out of me because I'm going to retell it here. But fucking, the first video I saw from you was about a year ago. And it was titled like marketing your ball python or so, something dumb like that.
Wasn't it the like how to invest in ball python?
It might have been that, right? And I was like, it had 1 billion views, right? So I was pissed off right off the bat. And I was like, who the fuck is this guy that I never heard of before telling you how to invest? And man, I'm happy to say I was way wrong. I was like, fucking 4 videos later, I was like, listen to this motherfucker. This is the right way. Like fucking and then I started asking around about you guys, and that was when I had asked you to be on 15 Minutes Lame. And everybody, like I mean everybody from higher end guys to fucking the dickheads that just started. We're like, fuck, Steven and Courtney, yeah, they're fucking phenomenal. You got to fucking talk to them. You got to buy something from them. And I was like, oh, all right. And then I felt bad asking you to be on 15 Minutes because I was like, this dude dwarfs my fucking views. Why the fuck? Like this dude does not need me to fucking push him.
Can we tell you a secret?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You could say the same thing. I felt the same way about you, Chris. Right?
No, not at all.
I think it was Antoine's 15 Minutes of Lame. Not 15 Minutes of Lame. His first video from 2022 when he was on and you were talking about the contest and stuff. I think Steven had listened to the podcast a couple of times. I'd caught a handful of them, but it was listening to Antoine's videos out and like seeing Andrew on his 15 Minutes of Lame segment. I was like, I want to be on 15 Minutes of Lame. I'm going to subscribe to the Patreon. I'm going to show up to the Zoom calls. I'm going to make Chris like us, and we're going to get on 15 Minutes of Lame. And then when there's a contest next year, we're going to win it.
Yeah?
Yeah. Oh. So I've manifested this.
Yeah, you thought it and manifested it. That's fucking awesome, man. It's fucking it's unbelievable. I've never seen, I'm not going to say never. Well, actually, that's not true because, like with every winner, the amount that they shot up within a year really made me think, okay, these guys should be on. And you guys shot up that just like Shane, just like Antoine, within a year. Every fucking podcast I turned into, if you weren't on it, because you guys do way too many podcasts, but you were mentioned on it. And I remember something that Antoine said. He's like, this is how you win 15 Minutes of Lame. Show up in every live chat, show up in every, on every podcast that asks you, and fucking just go on and have a good time and get your name out there. And you guys have definitely done that. I mean, I was surprised at the rise in your stock within a year already, and I hope to see it grow more now. Obviously, that you won, but now that you won, you don't have to do every shitty podcast.
No, you're right. But we actually have talked about being a little more.
There's been some bad ones.
There's been some bad ones. Like a lot of the ones that go the ones that we tune into, we like, and we would be happy to do those podcasts anytime. But there's a couple that like we didn't really know them. They just asked us to be on, and we said yes, that we wouldn't do something like that again. But I will say one of the reasons we wanted to do the 15 minutes and we wanted to be part of the contest so badly was we kind of have established ourselves within the newer mid-range breeders. Like we know a ton of people, everyone kind of like in that community online, at least in the social media side of it. We know them, but we haven't really been able to reach out to people who have been doing it a lot longer, or people who maybe wouldn't automatically go towards our side of videos. Like we specifically are marketing towards those newer breeders and stuff. So we figured like you have been doing it forever, and the people who listen to you are the ones who have been doing it forever. So that would be a good way to get our names out to people who we aren't specifically marketing to ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Right.
We're piggybacking off of you.
That's fine with
Using
me.
you as our
Well, I noticed that in for instance, like the what's in your cup crowd, like Brian's show, right? Well, like you guys are. I don't want to say a lot of their listeners Kabilkas or Brock Wagner's but you guys are at that level with them because they're obviously a lot of them are smaller than you guys, but the guys that are at your level offer you guys the same amount of respect that the newer people do. So I'm not saying that fucking Justin is listening to what's in your cup or Brock is listening to Proper Royals or anybody like that. But what I am saying is that the amount of respect that you guys got within 4 years is way more respect than a normal up and comer would. So and I think you guys put the work in to show that.
Steven's a huge kiss ass. So
yeah, no, I got that.
Yeah. So that's how we've wheedled our way into things.
No, you guys did great.
I think one of our things when it comes to like social media presence and like following, building all of that stuff is we try to be deliberate with it. Like we do look at it through like a marketing strategy. Our first year was all about brand awareness. So we wanted to put our content, tons of content. We were posting like 3 or 4 times a day.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It was a lot.
It worked.
And so our whole first year, it was, we just want to get our name out in front of as much people as possible. The second year that we were breeding, like 2022, it was that we wanted to not just put our name out in front of people. We wanted to make those like more prestigious connections within the hobby because like everybody knows what your show is. That was part of the reason why like it's like being on 15 minutes is prestigious within the reptile community. Like we've explained it to like other people like
they're like, what do you win? And we're like, the title and
like,
episode.
Yeah.
Like
the way that we explained it, I explained to my coworkers earlier this week was because when we told them that we wanted everything is that it's not sports. It's not like that there's like a league of breeders that determines who's like the best or anything like that. But that this contest is probably the closest equivalent to being like the rookie of the year.
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. How much time would you guys say that you put into this business every week with the social media as well as the animal keeping?
So social media specifically, like when we were doing this contest, we have what we call like business meetings where we'll like, get a babysitter or something and we'll go out to dinner. We'll like even take notes and everything where we come up with ideas for the reels for the week. We'll come up with like, hey, we've been posting like just pictures and reels without any like wow in them for a couple weeks. Let's look at some of the trending sounds, figure out 3 or 4 like really good reels. And we could post one of those a week and see if we could hit those like higher view counts. Do we need new business cards, stuff like that. So we'll do that maybe a couple times a month. But that's usually like 2 hours.
I would say per week, hourly, between both of us, we probably spend 30 to 40 hours a week between social media and various snakes things. And that's split between both of us.
Okay.
But it's essentially like another full-time
and
job.
with social
Right.
media, I mean, you can do it while you do other things, like drive. I'm just kidding.
Right. But you could also like just having almost 100 snakes. That's already a full-time job in itself.
And I think
To do all the social media on top of it is
so
quite a bit more.
we'll double it up. Like I count going to a lot of those lives as part of the social media presence, like being present in those lives. So we'll have like somebody's podcast playing while we like do a clean out or do a water change. And that way we're kind of not, and we're also grabbing pictures at the same time. We do a lot of batch creation where we get like 10 pictures at once, like videos for like 5 or 6 reels that we can post. The hardest thing I think to keep up with for us is rodents and YouTube.
Yeah,
Okay.
rodents are the most work of all of it.
Yeah, I mean that's just gross too. It's just like ugh, what a shitty business to be in is the fucking rodents. So you mentioned kind of batching things together.
Mm-hmm.
Do you schedule out your social post even now?
No, we don't really. We will have.
I'll make drafts and I'll post them like we like to post on Instagram once a day. We post on YouTube once a week. So we'll get a YouTube video posted, and that is usually scheduled because we put them out on Wednesdays. But when it comes to Instagram, we will usually get all of our stuff uploaded to Google Photos, and it'll be like, okay, I need to post today. Let me throw up this picture, or I'll have like 5 or 6 reels that I've got ready, and I can post them a day at a time. Like the campaign reels, we shot a lot at once.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then we changed our strategy, and those weren't batch created anymore.
Oh yeah. When Jana and Reggie were like pulled ahead in the polls, we were like, oh, we gotta change now.
We can either focus all of our attention on the 25% popular vote, or we can branch out and get 75% of the votes by specifically targeting the judges if we do a good enough job. So that's when we focused on judges, and then the reels came a little more spaced out because they had a lot more thought in them.
Well, and do you use like a scheduler to do anything, or?
Nope. It's just all in platform. So I've used, not for snakes, but I've used later. I've Hootsuite, there's HubSpot, but I personally like it feeling more organic with us. That way, when we post, it feels like we posted it, not like it was made and we forgot about it and then it just goes live.
Right. Yeah, no, believe me, I know that. There's been times where I'm like, oh, this is amazing. I just spent 3 days recording a month's worth of shit. And then you realize by the time you get to the third one, it's not relevant anymore. And it's just a waste of time. You don't even want to put it out,
Yeah. I understand that. We actually had a couple specifically campaign reels that were like that, where I think I have this really great idea to make the jump into a cactus joke, but then Jana jumped into the blackberry bush, and it was like, I'm not gonna, I don't want to piggyback off that, or little things like that. I think one thing that worked out really well for us is Steven, his most recent sunset video went live a day before Kabilka's did, and that was fantastic.
Yeah, that was
really big.
We had a nice little surge.
Yeah, if you're lucky enough to get that, because I know Justin and Canova hold their upcoming videos pretty close to the vest, right? So when you do something like that, it's just like, okay, I already know now that my views are going to skyrocket.
And inquiries on the last sunset that we have available jumped up right after that.
Well, and that's the other thing I was going to ask. How many snakes do you sell just off doing a video?
I can find out the exact number because we do track it, like where the source comes from whenever we make the sale. I would say that
all of our sunset stuff, the majority of that came from YouTube.
Yeah. Nobody buys a sunset from us just because they saw it on Morph Market. They went and found us. They wanted to buy it from us.
The majority of our sales.
Those are high dollar animals still, right?
Oh yeah, they're like $4,000 or $5,000 range right now.
Right. And what do you think? And I just want you to ballpark this, okay? You don't got to go into specifics, but your YouTube income that you get off of YouTube, with the amount of work that you put into it, roughly, and I just want the people to realize, how much do you make off YouTube a month?
$4,000?
No, we make about $50 off of YouTube a month.
We don't make money on YouTube.
We make more off of Instagram.
We make more money off of Instagram.
And what would be the breakdown as far as Instagram versus YouTube?
Instagram is significantly
Instagram
so much
is
easier.
So easy. You just throw up a reel and it might blow up. You might get 80,000 views on it because it was just right, and then you have $100 and you're done. You
take an 8-second video of a snake just holding it in your hand, and you get 20,000 views on it, and you've made more money on Instagram than you've made from that one 8-second video than you will from YouTube in the whole month.
And a lot of people do things like badges, they'll do Instagram lives and they can get money if people specifically spend the money. We only do the reels, and that kind of caps at $100. Once you hit that $100, views get you a lot
CPM
less.
Is way less.
Yeah, so we average between 110 and 130 maybe on Instagram, depending on how many views we get, how many reels we put out. YouTube takes a ton of time, a ton of effort, and I think our return from that comes from the people who bought the sunsets from us, rather than that $30 a month we get.
Oh yeah, fucking please. My
I won't even talk about my YouTube income because it's embarrassing. Okay, it took me 4 months to get that first check. You know, of $100.
Oh yeah.
And I was just like, you know what, this is ridiculous, right? As a matter of fact, that was the main reason I started doing the lives, just to see like could I get like super chat money, and then I find out YouTube takes half of that, so it doesn't really even fucking matter. But like guys like Luke from Lizard Morphs, you know, he had a reel that hit 90 million, right? And they don't even monetize.
I know. I heard.
Oh yeah, Australia doesn't monetize any social. They don't do TikTok.
Yeah, but I was just saying Instagram's not monetized outside the U.S. So.
Right. I felt so horrible for him. You know. Do you guys get any hate comments?
Yeah,
she does.
A little. Well, we do get some that are like, that snake lives in a box. Do you want to live in a box? And I'm like, I don't want to eat dead rats either. You know, like, I'm not a snake. It's not the same. We do get a lot of like, we'll post a picture of like me holding a snake, and it'll be like, I would have liked this, but you had to go and put your woman in it. And it's like, I am me. I am woman. Like, it's just me. It's my account. I can put myself in it. If
like, I am woman. Hear me bake.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. That's what I do. But we, like, if I do a YouTube video, Steven can post a YouTube video of him just talking for 45 minutes, and I'll do a YouTube video, and people will be like, it would be great if you didn't talk for so long in the beginning. And it's like, it was 48 seconds of me introducing myself. I get it. I don't think Steven really gets it.
No, if any negative comment, but I don't get hate comments. I think that Courtney will occasionally get hate comments, and I think
maybe
that
not hate, more like annoying.
People being like, "Oh, here's a woman."
It's not terrible. It's more like, I don't know. It's easy to block, but we do get a little bit of like PETA style, like. Did you know that these animals are endangered in Africa because of the pet trade? And it's like, I don't think that's true.
Yeah, that's not true. Watch Kaufman's video, right? Well, I can understand a little bit of the hate, because here's my next question for Steven. Like, after meeting Courtney, right, last month, she's hot and everything, right? But she seems pretty emotionally unavailable, right? Like, how did you break down that fucking barrier? And did you go brick by brick, or did you just come in and knock the fucking wall down?
So the thing, Courtney is like Courtney is smitten by me. Like, this is just a fact. Courtney loves me like more than anything in the world.
Chill.
So I think that just kind of happened. I think that with Courtney, with like other people,
I am a very warm person.
Courtney
what are you guys talking about? I bake. I have a bake.
This is exactly the response I was hoping to get.
Yeah, I'm like a sweet,
emotionally unavailable comment. Yeah,
incredibly kind. I give very thoughtful gifts. I host Halloween parties.
If somebody is going to get into a fight with you, it's gonna be Courtney. Like, Courtney is going to be the one.
I do hold a grudge. I do hold a grudge, and I don't like when people are rude in public. I have been known to verbally assault individuals in public. Now that comes off as trashy, but what I'm saying is I've had a situation in which I told an old lady, "You're being rude, stop," and she told the staff that I had verbally assaulted her. But no, I'm a nice, warm person. I don't know what you're talking about.
I describe myself as a hype man.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. You can be Chris. You could be like, "Hey, do you want to smoke some crack?" And I'd be like, I don't really do crack, but I'm gonna support you, Chris.
No. The first thing Steven would say was like, "Do you know Billy at the mattress shop?" Right? No, obviously I was only kidding about Courtney, because
really, because y'all scared me for a second.
When Courtney first met me, she hugged me, and I was like, "Oh, I didn't even know we're on a hugging basis," you know. But by the third day, though, Courtney did not want to hug me. So how did Courtney get through a dinner with me without her telling me I'm being rude?
no.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I was pretty loud at that dinner.
Oh, that was fun. That was fun.
No, so for everyone watching, we took Chris to Cracker Barrel, and if anyone's grandmother came home to say that there was a man at Cracker Barrel
and a top hat talking about getting raped in the back hills of Tennessee, that was Chris.
We're sorry.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest, I felt a little racist just eating in Cracker Barrel. Like I was like, if people gonna look at me now like I'm racist, like fucking. Thank God Shamir was there. What do you guys? This is a question for both of you. What do you want to see written on your gravestone there, Steven?
That's a good question. I hope everyone's having all the fun.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's exactly what you would want. Please don't bury me.
Oh yeah, she wants to be burned.
There you go. Okay.
All right. Yeah.
Well, I mean, guys, is there anything that you want to pimp for the new year right now? And like, what does Leviathan have coming in the next 3 months?
Okay, maybe not the next 3 months.
All right, 6 months.
Okay. So one thing that's really cool, I think I'm gonna let Steven talk about it. Steven, if you can't tell, is really into like videography, photography, and more so than just like making a YouTube video. He wants it to look good. He gets excited with like new angles, new lighting. It's more of like its own hobby for him. So like a couple years ago, I showed him my favorite documentary. It's Meru by Jimmy Chin and Conrad Anker. They climb Meru. They climb a mountain, and it's my favorite documentary, and very quickly became Steven's favorite documentary. And ever since then, he's been like, I want to make a documentary like Meru.
And we talked about it a little bit before.
Right.
We talked about multiple different things. But what we want to do is throughout 2022, we want to interview various different people who are involved with the 15 Minutes of Lame contest, whether it's this year or any of the previous years or anything like that. If you got the in, we'd also want to interview Justin, since he's the one who like sponsors it all. And from all of these interviews, build out a like ball python documentary that's focused on the 15 Minutes of Lame contest. And
I definitely like the thought of that with you explaining it that way very much. But you've already won the contest.
It's not about a promotional thing. It's just
it's not for like, hey, vote for us. It's more like, this is what we put into the contest. This is why we put it into the contest. This is what the contest has meant for other people, for Shane, for Antoine, for the other contestants that we were against,
for the overall hobby. And then we would like to hopefully we get everything done, because we want to like travel to it. We don't want to necessarily just do like Zoom calls, which there's nothing wrong with Zoom calls, but we want to like be in person for all the interviews,
right?
And release it as the contest is starting next year.
Oh, that would be fucking awesome. That's fucking great idea. And not just because it involves me. It's just a great idea in general. We'll talk afterwards about getting in with Justin. So I don't think that would be a problem at all. You guys might have to drive a little bit.
We're not far.
Okay. Listen, guys, I can't even thank you enough for fucking being here. How could everybody get in touch with you? Not that anybody needs to know. The one thing I did notice that you have a period in your Instagram name.
Yep.
Yeah.
Why?
Because I made it Leviathan Snakes like very early on, before we had any followers at all. And then when we started doing like YouTube, when we started doing other things, there'd always be like Leviathan Snakes at Leviathan . And we can't change it now. If we changed it now, well, maybe we could. I don't know. Maybe you want to, but that's how I had my personal Instagram. It was like Courtney . And so that's just how I made it.
Well, I noticed that Facebook doesn't let you hashtag it with the period. It just lets you hashtag Leviathan.
Okay. I know like our Facebook account is just Leviathan Snakes, but I don't know. I don't know anything about it. I made it. Steven doesn't like it. It bugs him.
So that's the reason, or that's the way that people could get in touch with you.
Yeah. At Leviathan Snakes on Instagram. We're on TikTok. We don't do a whole lot on TikTok. Leviathan Snakes on YouTube.
Yep.
Instagram's the easiest way to get in touch with us
DMS.
by far. Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely noticed that when I'm scrolling through my fucking giant titty videos on TikTok, eventually a Leviathan video comes up. And
They're hilarious, right?
kudos to you guys for fucking that. But seriously, thank you so much for taking the time. Thank you so much for all the effort that you put into winning the contest. And I'd still like to have you guys on a marketing leveling up, if that's okay with you guys.
Yes, that's awesome.
And maybe even have you come here or me go down there and we do it in person. You know, I mean, that would be a fun trip, you know.
I've never been to New York City, so I'd be.
Are you in the city?
Well, it's a shithole. I'm 12 minutes from the city, but sometimes it could take you 2.5 hours to get there, to go that 12 miles. And that 12 miles is just at the very tip of New York City. Because I'm in Manhattan a lot because I got to work there, but I work on 92nd Street, and 92nd Street really isn't the city. The city is like, 60th through 25th, so it still takes a little bit more to get there, but we could go into the city. I got no problem as long as we drive and I don't have to walk anywhere. Okay. Right. So fucking, you get in touch with me and we'll fucking figure it out. Guys, can't thank you enough. Fucking everybody's probably going to tune into this video to look at Courtney, but Steven is the information side of it. So fucking, you guys did great, and I'm honored to fucking call you guys family and the 15 Minutes family, and you guys just killed it. So everybody go check out a snake, go buy a snake, go fucking look at their videos. Leviathan Snakes everywhere. Leviathan's period snakes on Instagram. Okay. But guys, you did a killer job. Thank you so much, man.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks.
All right, guys, take care.
Geeky Geckos is Arizona's largest gecko breeder, and they're helping usher the Fatman into the leopard gecko space. They have a really popular YouTube channel for education, care, and breeding, and all that other fun shit. And they have an active community on Instagram, Facebook, and Discord over at Geeky Gecko Creations. Oh, since they're in Arizona and it's fucking 98 degrees there in the winter, they could ship year-round. Plus, if you buy from them, they basically have free consultations about your collection for life. That's forever. Forever and ever. Call or text Frank today at 480-299-7657 with any questions or inquiries that you have. That's a fucking man that stands by his shit, that he's willing to give out his fucking cell number to all of you degenerates. There's another Snakes and the Fatman special with Geeky Gecko Creations. It's hard to fucking say. There's a special 10% discount on all applicable animals using code SATFM10 at checkout. Go check out Frank and his awesome fucking animals at geekygeckocreations.com. Man, Steven and Courtney are just some cool fucking people. Again, thank you so much to Leviathan Snakes, taking home the title of lamest of the lame for all of 2023. All right, next episode. Let's see, what do we got here? We got another Snakes and the Fatman exclusive with someone that's been asked about but has never done a podcast before. And they're doing their first one here with the old Fatman. Very excited about this one, and they're definitely going to be offering some insights into many things that have been discussed in the past on this podcast. Hey, if you like what you see here, come on over and join us on Patreon at patreon.com/snakesandthefatman. You'll definitely get the inside scoop on how I feel about certain things that I can't really say publicly. And you'll get exclusive videos that are only available to the Patreon family. And you can't search me on Patreon because I don't come up. Because I fucking wanted to be honest when I first started Patreon and said that I was an adult-only podcast. So because of that, they have some kind of restriction on the search parameters. So now you actually have to go to patreon.com/snakesandthefatman, and then you have access to the page. There's a bunch of fucking funny and cool videos up there, and you know, it'll definitely make you laugh. And yes, I paywall some stuff. Fucking sue me. I just bought a new setup that is going to make doing videos for Patreon much, much easier for me. So there's going to be a lot of new content in 2023. Let's see. One big announcement is that the open Zoom call for reptile keepers is only going to be done once a month now. I know that a lot of you are going to complain and say it's your only adult time that you get all week, and it's basically a fun time to not talk about reptiles and just joke around and have a good time. But I need a Sunday off, man. I need one Sunday a month off. Plus, I think that if we only do it once a month, it'll be more of an event type thing, and I think that it'll create a sense of urgency for new people to show up, because they know that there won't be another one for 30 days. The open Zoom call for reptile keepers is always fun, always free, and never recorded. So you could feel free to say whatever the fuck you want on it, because no one will know. I'll be continuing the Fatman live shows every 2 weeks, and I'm really looking forward to doing those because they're so easy. No editing. I think I got one more announcement here. A new season of 15 Minutes of Lame, Where Are They Now, will kick off in February with all of the contestants from 2021. Well, not all of them, okay? If you remember, some of them, just some of them, turned out to be sneaky little cheating fucks. So, fuck them, okay? Guys, thank you so much for kicking off 2023 with me. And Courtney and Steven and what the hell was his name? Brandon. Yeah, Brandon. I appreciate it, man. And I'm really excited for all the new stuff that we're going to bring you in 2023. Fatman might be traveling a little bit. How fucking interesting is that? He might not be, because it's fucking exhausting as fuck. But he might be. There's definitely a chance. Guys, thank you. Thank you so much. I will see all of you guys in fucking 2 weeks. Love you. Bye-bye.
Everyone talks their own shit about what kind of racks you should buy. Metal racks are great, but everyone doesn't want a goddamn 7-foot high, 6-foot wide, 2,000-pound metal rack in their fucking house. That's a 2-refrigerator footprint, man. 2 fucking refrigerators. Sea Serpents makes insane quality racks that could fit anywhere. They're stackable PVC racks that are living room friendly, and they're shipped fully assembled with heat tape already installed. Just plug it into a thermostat and you're ready to go. When we had the shop, we had over 20 Sea Serpent racks there before they ever became a sponsor of Snakes and the Fatman. I don't breed much anymore these days, but I still have a few racks here in my house, and you could be goddamn sure that they're Sea Serpents. Oh, and they also make hotbox incubators. Probably the best reptile incubators made in America. At the height of our breeding business, we had 4 4-foot hotbox incubators. And again, I still have a small hotbox incubator here in case anything I keep actually does breed. Go to SeaSerpents.com and check out their incredible selection of PVC racks, and tell Chris Nettles that the Fatman sent you.